Hello, hello. It's Katrina Cobb here, your favorite digital nomad consultant and business coach. And today I want to talk about pricing because it's no secret that when you are an independent, setting your prices, especially in the beginning, is probably one of the hardest and most confusing things to do. And when I've talked to a number of freelancers and coaches and consultants, what they find is once they get a little bit down the track, they realize they're not charging enough, but they're not sure how to charge more. They run out of time and they want to scale and figure out how to grow, but how to do that ethically and without getting totally trapped in imposter syndrome for charging more than what you have been, especially significantly more, can be a big challenge. So here's some shortcuts and things to think about for how to do this and how to do this effectively and how to do this ethically. So first and foremost, I want to say it's not just about raising prices to raise prices. It's not really serving anybody unless you've been so far under market value and your true value that it's just an adjustment that's necessary. But what you want to think about, again, is not just raising prices every year as like a normal inflation sort of thing. You want to do it in a way that's merited. That way you feel good about it, your customers understand it, and it's justified and validated. So if you are in business-to-business services and your clients are typically business entities or small to medium businesses, what they're looking for is either to save time or to make more money. And so the way you increase the value of what you offer is to increase the size of the problem you're solving, and it's usually a combination of those two things. Now you can do this by just beefing up your service package, by just talking a little bit more about the actual value of what you're creating, by really outlining and identifying the implications of the effects of having your service or product. And that's one way to go, but you can also do this by combining other skill sets that you have maybe outside of your core service. So if you are a designer but you also happen to be really great at words, maybe you shift into content instead of purely just graphic design. Just one example. So that's one thing. You got to increase the size of the problem that you're solving. Now if you are business to consumer, slightly different animal, but it's still the same concept. What they're looking for is they want to be in a different place. They want a transformation. So for some people, maybe it's a solopreneur that you're working with, they still probably want the time or money, but they also want some sort of transformation. So if you can shift their identity, if you can shift an experience, if you can shift the way they feel and do that in a bigger way, then you're onto something, and now you have a valuable, much more valuable package in a way to describe that. So the second key factor is then how do you make your message match this shift in your service offerings? And this is where I think people even trip up more, because it's not just about the thing you're delivering, it is about that transformation, it is about those end results, it is about that return on investment. So the bigger the problem you're solving, the more impact that has to the individual or to the business entity, the more your service is worth. This is where you can get into value-based pricing and get away from the nickel and diming of hourly pricing, of pay per word, of like solo set project fees for a deliverable, and shift into really a transformative service. So that's the things to think about. It starts with one, taking a look at how do you solve a bigger problem, and two, getting real honest about language that conveys the true nature of the transformation or the savings or the return on investment that your solution provides. So that's some quick tips today on how to actually charge more. It's to think differently about what you're doing. You're not just delivering a thing, you are helping people go from point A to point B and do it in a much bigger way, and sometimes even calling upon different skill sets that you already have. So that's my tip for this week. I'll be back next week with some more. Hope that helps.